start with Teop language is an oceanic language and it's spoken in the autonomous region of Bougainville, Papua New Guinea. Aha, okay, jetzt, now, okay, also spoken in the autonomous region of Bougainville of Papua New Guinea. Most people are literate in Teop, all of them are bilingual, and the language is used in primary schools. So the topics of this presentations are the collaboration in the Teop Language Documentation Project, then how the resilient thinking approach led to new genres and registers in the documentation. Then thirdly, why editorial work and creative writing must not be ignored in language documentation. And then I will present some slides of the digital multifunctional Teop-English Dictionary from Dictionaria. So, I start with two questionable statements about language documentation. In language documentation, we aim at recording as comprehensively as possible all the communicative events that occur in everyday life, as well as the special occasions characteristic for a given culture. Now, who is we? Of course, we linguists. And I think such aims are unrealistic and consequently useless. Furthermore, the interests and rights of the contributors and the speech community should take precedence over scientific interests. Himmelmann, 1998. So the second one is even more so what is collaborative language documentation? We need to document also how to talk to babies and dogs as much as we need the creation myth cycle. Users of the documentation will want to know what is appropriate for greetings, leave-taking, scolding, swearing, and the many other things that tend not to show up in traditional texts or in products of many language documentation projects. So, who are the users of the documentations? Of course, the linguists or the anthropologists, yeah? And I ask you, would you like to be recorded when talking to a baby, yeah? Or a dog or a pony, yeah? I definitely would not, yeah? Okay? So, what is collaboration in the Teop project? I was a guest in the community and my host and other community members organized a team of field workers. The local team members decided on the workflow and the content of the text collection. We did not set long-term goals, but let the design of the Teop language corpus emerge during our collaborative corpus compilation. So this resilience thinking approach led to new genres and registers of the Teop language. So this means we were creating, yeah, we were not only documenting how the language is spoken now, but what the people can make with their language. Yeah. Okay. So I must be very fast now about the history. We had a fieldwork, or I gave a fieldwork methods course at the Australian National University with the Teop speaker Ruth Sorwana-Spriggs, and she was a friend of mine. And we were lucky, we got a grant 94 from the Australian Research Council so that she could go to Bougainville during the very heavy civil war. And when I moved to Germany, we continued our work by email, and she visited me twice. And here are all the grants we got, and since 2011, the fieldwork is funded by private resources. Here are our fieldwork trips, and very important for security reasons, yeah, because of the Civil War and the aftermath, yeah, I was not allowed to bring a computer with me until 2008, yeah? That was many years. So all computer work was done by Ruth in Australia or myself in Kiel with research assistants. So Savannah introduced me to the Teop community in 2000, and I did the first fieldwork in 2003, 4 weeks with Sima and Neville, and they introduced me to 7 villages, and we explained the project and our plans. The next fieldwork was also only 4 weeks, and we did recordings and transcriptions. We had 12 folktales, 6 were already edited, 7 descriptions of traditional customs, 1 historical text, and 8 descriptions of the material culture, like cooking recipes. We had a meeting then that was very important of all our team members here, and they decided, first, record, transcribe, and translate more folktales, edit and illustrate folktales, produce a monolingual reader for the primary school, do recordings with elderly people who want to pass their knowledge on to future generations. Because of the war and these very bad situations, there were no books at all, yeah? And they had subsistent farming. So when I came to the village, the whole economy of the village, yeah, had to be changed. And that was the reason why I could do fieldwork only for 4 weeks, yeah? There were no trading shops, yeah? So we had to live on fish and vegetables. Here you see the workers doing work by hand, and we had 2 teachers who did the proofreading. And what was very important was that the team members were not ashamed to work together with other team members. Yeah, when the teachers corrected the orthography, was no problem. Yeah. So, and here we have the graphic artist Rodney Racine illustrates a folktale. An old woman caught a young man who tried to steal firewood at night. She didn't let him go back to his wife. And so the content of the book is beyond my responsibilities. Yeah. So there are stories, you know, I wouldn't quote here because, yeah. So in the end, we have 3 types of text. Audio recordings, edited versions, and written text. We also have edited versions just done with the audio recordings without transcriptions. Okay, for linguists, of course, we have all 3 kinds of texts in ELAN, for non-linguists in the edited versions and the written text. And the edited folktales were read by a reader, a Teop reader. A disadvantage of ELAN is that one cannot include pictures, yeah? And they are important. Here you see the different roles of our team members in abbreviations, and you see that some people had, you know, here in the beginning, Enoch, Joyce, Jubilee, Naphtali, and Andrea, they worked nearly all the time with me, and then some people were only writing. Yeah, it happened that teachers came with texts about insects and said, "Oh, can you publish this?" Yeah, so okay. So and 39 recorders. The Toolbox, I do it very fast. Here you see 2004 children reading the printout of an edited folktales, and they are enthusiastic. Yeah, 2007. The legends were then published as a schoolbook. So it took us 3 more years. Yeah. This is a book about house building, and here you see that's very important to have pictures. Yeah, otherwise you can't understand the text. I skip this now. And the history book, published 2014. There are 5 texts about the Second World War, and here you see a picture with Simon Rigamu. He rescued the Teop people from the Japanese. So this picture is important for Teop people. And then in addition, we had 7 biographies and 2 texts about the Civil War, which lasted 10 years. And a book of fishes, I skip this here. The Teop language corpus is arranged according to folktales, history texts, and descriptions, all 3 types of texts. Now, this is the size of the Teop language corpus. Altogether, it's 2,504 public texts, words altogether. We have done the work on the folktales, the history, and now we have to do a book about the environment and the material culture. And you see, we put then in the edited versions and the written versions. Yeah. So altogether, this would be about nearly 60,000 words. Yeah. Okay. These excerpts of the environment and material culture texts are published in this dictionary in Dictionaria. But of course, I want to publish also the full text, yeah, not just the dictionary. And in the dictionary, we have text excerpts as so-called examples. So some texts are 3 or 4 or 5 sentences and then translated into English, but without glossings. So that comes now the history of this dictionary. The editors, chief editors are Martin Hasselmatt and Barbara Stiebels, and 2 managing editors, Iren Hartmann and Johannes Englisch. They work at the MPI in Leipzig. So if you are interested, yeah, to put in a dictionary into this project, contact them. Yeah, you find them on the web page. So I will talk now about this multifunctional dictionary of Teop language and only what you see under when you click words. Yeah, you can also click words extra, then you get the 2 minutes. Okay, so okay, so an important feature of this dictionary is that you have multiple selection opportunities. You can search for the first word in the meaning description, like house, yeah? Then you get house, inu, but you also get multi-word expressions, yeah? Like inu atovo, a house made of sago palm. You can search for the semantic domain. You can search for the multi-word expressions. Now, when you put in house without this hook, yeah? Then you get all entries, 67, which have something to do with houses. Or semantic domains, we have 53 semantic domains, and then you can, of course, put in house, but you can also put in here plants. And then you put in house there, meaning description, and then you get all descriptions or meaning descriptions with the word house in them, but the semantic domain is plants. Yeah? Or you are interested in transitive verbs, which have something to do with house, then you get this. Yeah? And let me see, something interesting here. Yes, you might be a linguist who is working on transitivity and the applicatives. Then you put in the abbreviation of applicatives in the multi-verb expressive structure, apple, yeah, and you get 488 dictionary entries with applicatives. Or, yeah, now what is this? These are the applicatives. And you see very complex structures with applicatives because we have the multi-word expressions included in the dictionary. Everything with examples, yeah, or little text. So this is about the book I want to present. And here you see this house building used in the German colonial times, 1909, yeah, is still used in 2011, but also we have combined forms, yeah, with a corrugated iron roof and stairs and so, but still we have the walls plated from bamboo, yeah. And this I found very interesting, and the people want, of course, to transmit this. So this was all I wanted to say. No.
Thank you. We have about 4 minutes for questions.
Thank you very much for your presentation, and I like very much your insistence on the fact that the creative effects on genres, the creative effects on genres yes. Of this of the documentation project. But I think you presented mostly written genres, and I think there are also clear effects on the oral genres. For example, the way people talk about themselves and their life, which in Amazonian context, for example, has been reported as new genre. I mean, the way they do it, which was like implemented by this type of project, or the way the meta discourse about activities. And so I wonder, and also the effect on specific genres of these documentation effects, the fact, for example, that for folktales or myths, sometimes some versions that have been documented become canonical versions. And so I'm sure you have things to say about that. And I'll be interested.
Of course, you know, I have these double corpus of folktales. I have all the oral folktales and I have all the edited folktales. So I could compare the syntax, the lexicon of both versions. And what was interesting, I have written an article on this 2015. So there are no, let's say, English-influenced constructions. But what's interesting is that when you have in the oral version paratactic clauses, yeah, they put them very often together by, for instance, serial verb constructions, yeah, or then subordinate clauses, etc. So the whole list, and this documents their meta-linguistic knowledge. So what I do mean when I say preserving cultural knowledge, the meta-linguistic knowledge is included, yeah. And the written texts are not syntactically, morphologically, not different from the edited versions, yeah.
Other questions?
I really love the layout of the multifunctional dictionary that you have. I think it's a really smart way of organizing information for linguists.
Yeah.
But it's obviously largely online. How much does the community get to view it? Like, what's their capabilities of looking at this kind of knowledge and studying it?
Okay, so ashes on my head, yeah. This is really, at the moment, it's not only accessible for linguists, because most people do not have access to internet. There is a missionary from SIL. She has a computer, yeah, but that's all, yeah. We also didn't have any disk, for instance, because they don't have disk players, yeah. And I did this little dictionary on paper about house building, and actually I could, when I was still traveling, I could take it with me, and I had 2 parcels and they got it. I wanted to send the history book, yeah? Not possible because I can't send any parcel from Germany to Bougainville, yeah? Not at the moment. and I have the parcels in my flat, yeah. So, and the dictionary, yes, I hope that one day they might have internet. My friend Ruth, she lives already, now she lives with her people, yeah. She lives in a village in the mountains. She doesn't have a smartphone and she doesn't have internet access. So that's, yeah. And then I asked Johannes from the MPI, could you please make a printout, yeah, from our Dictionaria dictionary? And he did it, yeah. And it without pictures, yeah, it is 700 pages. So when I would print it, then it would be 1,500 pages, and this it's not usable. People don't use dictionaries, and most people, German people, don't use dictionaries. They have it, you know, like the Bible. They have it on the shelf, yeah, and never read it. Yeah? So I think printed dictionaries are the linguist thinks that's what they want. And Ruth said she wants to have a dictionary for her community. That's how we started, yeah. But they wouldn't use it, yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.